Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 6 of Season 3 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Desertland 400 here at Arizona Speedway as we are getting set for 41 laps of racing here at this mile-and-a-half racetrack, and should be fun. We've been here last season, and it was quite a successful weekend, so we are back here this season, and we shall see how it all turns out. But with that being stated, let's take a look and see how the point standings look coming into the race tonight. So, Joshua Sekuli still hangs on to the points lead, and he extended his points lead by 22 points now over Dylan Jacobs. Third is James Qualls, fourth Emmanuel Hartnett, fifth Dylan Young, sixth Charles Sanford, seventh Chris Stollerton, eighth, and also our pole sitter for tonight, Rafael LeDuc, ninth Dorian Facepuncher, and then 10th David Rivera. So that is how the top 10 looks. Currently, though, if we were to do the wild cards right now for the chase, the two wild cards currently would be JT Bryant. He has a win, and he's outside the top 10 in points in the top 30. And Paul Minnick, who is 11th and highest outside the top 10 with no win. So, the road to the chase starts now. But here we go, let's look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Pichu London and Anthony McCrory. Top 10, Rafael LeDuc on the pole. Starting next to him is Dylan Young. Row 2 is Andrew Rich and Jake Baskinger. Row 3 is the points leader, Joshua Sekuli and Trent Dunham. Row 4, DJ Curtis, Dylan Poteet. And then row 5, we have Ashlyn Boyd and Dougie Shears. With that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Desertland 400 at Arizona.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Engines revving up as everybody is getting ready to pull out onto the racetrack for the one pace lap around here before we get to racing. So yeah, this racetrack is sort of like a combination, say, of like Dover and every mile-and-a-half racetrack. It's fast, but there can be short track tempers if things get really intense. And with this race, this is the first race with updated top 30 of points and different go-or-go homers, and a lot of veterans of NR 2003 find themselves outside the top 30. Jessica Sheldon, Sean Galligan, Anthony McCrory, among many others. Some of those people actually qualified into the race. Sheldon made it in, same with McCrory, but Galligan I don't think made it in. So this is going to be an interesting point shakeup. We're going to see who's going to get in the top 30 and who's going to fall out. And could we see a new points leader? We'll see as we are getting set to go green. And boogity, 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 let's go racing. Well, that was lap number 1, and it was Rafael Leduc who led that lap, but Dylan Young is right on his back bumper, and in turn, Andrew Rich is on the back bumper of the 2. And then behind them, it is really racy. After Ashland Boyd, it's double the 3 wide action everywhere from 5th on back. And speaking of 5th, a battle going on for 5th. James McLeod trying to go by Preston Plord for the position. As meanwhile, I thought we were going to see a fight for the lead there, but Leduc manages to shut the door on the 56 of Andrew Rich, and now Andrew Rich has Ashland Boyd to his inside, as Ashland Boyd trying to get a good run so he can try and get some momentum. But I think, yes, we are under caution, and it was Kyle Matthews and Seth Cole, Dollarton, Collard, Walsh. Chris Michaels was involved, same with William Brock. I'm not sure if... No, Petrie London wasn't in. I didn't see any damage. Yeah, no damage on the 78 of Dylan Jacobs because he was in the very back of the pack, but 2 cars are smoking, the 23 and the 43. So those are 2 cars definitely done for the night, as things have already gotten rather heated. And right as we were getting ready to go to the replay, we're going to have pit stops, but we got a few people staying out. And it looks like your new leader will be Jake Baskinger. So since that has happened, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Arizona Speedway. Well, here's a look at what happened. So they were going 3 wide off of turn 2, but it was right here. Dollarton looked like he was trying to get in line behind the 15 of Tim Walsh, but just ends up hooking the 15, and it collected William Brock and Kyle Matthews, and then Dollarton makes contact with the 09, which sends him into the 98. And we got a lot of different things that happened in this wreck that we will take a look at here in a second. Wow, how did Pichu London miss the 98 of Seth Cole? And that was William Brock who ended up getting collected. And then the 23, it looked like he came back across the racetrack into the 43 of Joshua Collard. Let's actually look at this. So the 23 sliding, trying to catch the car, and ends up getting into the 43 of Joshua Collard, and that's how both of their engines pretty much got destroyed. But let's look at the Kyle Matthews portion of this wreck, and Dylan Jacobs did get a piece of it, but nothing major. So let's watch the 09, because he got collected as a result of the contact. First the 23 into the 15, which turns the 15 into the 01, and then the 01 into the 09, and actually the 09 went up on 3 wheels up off the ground and almost flipped. And then there you see Tim Walsh make contact. Chris Michaels ran into the back of somebody. Dylan Jacobs, luckily for him, just got some sheet metal damage, but nothing that's really going to affect him performance-wise. So the 78 got quite lucky with that. Let's see when Chris Michaels comes into the picture. Yeah, after the 15 gets into the outside wall and into the 01, right there, the 17 just had nowhere to go. And the 78 did make some pretty significant contact with the 15, but still, it wasn't enough to really cause any damage to the 78. But I think move right here goes to the 21. Look at him. He was almost going to turn right back up to the right and almost T-bone the 98. But luckily, he was only about maybe a half of a car width separating him and Seth Cole. So that was quite crazy right there, but that was a look at the caution. Let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Arizona. Well, after that caution, 3 cars are out of the race, and they include Chris Michaels, Chris Dollarton, and Joshua Collard. Man, that's about, I think, the 3rd time this season Joshua Collard's going to finish dead last in a race. And Chris Michaels, who just got back into the top 30 in points, may end up dropping out as a result of being wrecked, but everybody pitted except for the top 5, so the 5 that stayed out were Jake Baskinger, who's your leader, 2nd JT Bryant, 3rd Phil Parker, 4th DJ Curtis, 5th Charles Jackson. Everybody else pitted, so 6th is Rafael Leduc, 7th Ashland Boyd. 8th, Dylan Thoreau. 9th, Johnny Gardner. 10th, Matt McIntyre. 11th, Andrew Rich. 12th is Jay Jefferson. 13th, Jessica Sheldon. 14th, Jonathan Zorline. 15th, Austin LaPlante. 16th, Paul Minnick. 17th, James McLeod. 18th, Charles Sanford. 9th, Dylan Poteet. 20th, Dylan Young. 21st is Kyle Keith. 22nd, Zach Flickinger. 23rd, Emmanuel Hartnett. 24th, Mark Lane. 25th, David Rivera. 26th, James Qualls. 27th, Benjamin Miles. 28th, Dorian Facepuncher. 29th, Trent Dunham. 30th, Joshua Sekuli. And then it's Preston Plord, Pichu London, Dougie Shears, Kyle Matthews, Anthony McCurry, Seth Cole, Dylan Jacobs, William Brock, Tim Walsh. As the green flag is back out, and already a battle for the lead, JT Bryant going to go by the 18 of Jake Baskinger, and Bryant's got Young Motorsports teammate Phil Parker helping him get to the front. JT Bryant trying to go for win number 2 this season in hopes of possibly clinching a wild card spot for the chase. But meanwhile, pole sitter and early leader Rafael Leduc has already moved up to 3rd within 1 lap, and he's on his way up to the Young Motorsports duo of Bryant and Parker. Looking around the field to see who's all off the pace and such. Kyle Matthews looks like he's still up to speed despite rear end damage, so he's still going strong. So is Anthony McCurry in the 78, still running up to speed. So basically the only guys who are off the pace are Seth Cole slightly, then definitely William Brock and Tim Walsh. So particularly 3 cars not up to speed now. As meanwhile Dylan Thoreau actually moves into the 3rd spot, and now Rafael Leduc's stuck on the high line for the time being. Moves back down low in front of the 10 of Ashland Boyd, so he stays in 4th, but he's going to come right back to try and take 3rd back from the 11. And now here comes Austin LaPlante with a run to the inside of Ashland Boyd, and that's for the 5th position. James McLeod trying to reel his way back up into the top 5. And whoa, a big evasive maneuver by Jonathan Zorline. Goes for a crossover move, and it works as he goes by the 10, but he's got his teammate Jay Jefferson going underneath of him for a spot. So things are getting really racy up here at the front, and now Austin LaPlante going to go low underneath the 99 of Rafael Leduc. That's for 3rd, as Parker's still in 2nd and Bryant's still your leader, so it's still a Young Motorsports 1-2. Let's see where the rest of that team is running, as Dollarton is out. The team owner and leader, Dylan Young's working his way up through the field. I think he would now be in the 7th spot, I would assume. Let's see when he gets across the line. No, he's 6th, actually. And then the last one, Dorian Facepuncher, back of the pack in 29th, but he just gone by Pichu London and Anthony McCurry. Looking around the field to see what's going on, and Dylan Jacobs losing the draft, so he's slightly off the pace as a result of losing the pack, but a battle for the lead. Rafael Leduc's going to go back and take over the top spot they had early on before the caution came out, but now he may be under danger from the 51 of James McLeod, but the 99 shuts the door on him, so the 99 clears for the lead to take the lead back, as JT Bryant's actually slipping way back, and now Dylan Young is going to take over the 4th spot from his teammates, and now he got 3 of those Young Motorsports cars in 4th, 5th, and 6th, and now DJ Curtis in the 14. This is the first time we've seen him run up here all night, and now he's trying to make something happen. This is predominantly Fords in the top 10. You got Leduc, Young, Bryant, Parker, Curtis, and Rivera all in the top 10. Meanwhile, we got an interesting battle going on for 9th on back. Oh, James Qualls nearly got turned by Dylan Poteet right there, but saved it and is still pulling away from the 31 slightly. Trent Dunham up here into the picture. And right now, the highest running rookie is Zach Flickinger in the 4. One of 2 of the Stewart-Haas cars running the Haas Automation paint scheme. And DJ Curtis is up there in that paint scheme as well, as Rafael Leduc's got a steady lead over this battle, this big battle for second, as James McLeod trying to keep the spot away from the 22 of JT Bryant, but he's got Dylan Young right to his back bumper. And because these guys are fighting really hard, it's helping the 99 pull away from the rest of the field, as I'm looking around to see what's going on as far as any potential wrecks that could ensue. Oh, but we got pit stops. Phil Parker's going to sacrifice a top 10 spot to come into pit road. He was one of 5 guys that did not come into pit road under that first caution. So, interesting development here in this race, as everybody else, for the most part, are about 5-6 laps to the good over some of those guys. So I don't think these guys will have to pit for at least another 5 more laps. Oh, but we could see a lead change thanks to 2 cars that are off the pace that are right up and ahead of the leaders, Tim Walsh and William Brock, so things can get really dangerous here if they're not careful. Oh, but the 99, he's slowing down. I think he's going to come into pit road. And indeed he is, pitting at the halfway point. Quite a few drivers are coming in fact. But let's go up to the front and see what's going on. Right now, Dylan Young has the lead, and they just went by Tim Walsh. But now they're up to the 01 of William Brock. And now James McLeod takes over the lead as a result. David Rivera now going to get to second, with Qualls following behind in third. And whoa, the 15 nearly got turned by the 48 right there. But surprisingly, not a lot of other drivers coming into pit road, although maybe I spoke too soon. And now here comes more people in the pit road. I saw Dylan Young, he's pulling in. LaPlante is in, Face Puncher is in. So it's like everybody's trying to do different strategies in hopes of a long green flag run to see who can last longest on fuel. But right now it's the 51 of James McLeod as your race leader, but he's slowing down and he's coming into pit road. Looks like everyone else is coming in. Looking around to see if anybody's staying out. I think this is the last of them, so these are the last rounds of green flag pit stops for now. Gonna keep our eyes on the pit lane camera here to wait for the 51. Oh, and as this happens, I see a wreck on the front stretch. I can't tell who that is, but he's right at the start-finish line. Looked like it was Dylan Poteet that went spinning on the straightaway, so this might have been a big key point for this race, as McLeod actually won the race off pit road of this group of cars. So it's kind of questionable to see who is the real race leader and who all got caught a lap down. But I don't know, things are going to get interesting once they get cycled back around properly. But while everything gets sorted out, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the second time tonight here at Arizona. Well, this was just a case of a car coming off a pit road and not totally up to speed yet, getting into contact with somebody, and he just came up in front of the 12 of Phil Parker, which sends Phil Parker hard into the outside wall, which sent him up on 2 wheels, and Rafael Leduc actually ran into the back of the 12 slightly. I don't know if that's going to cause any real damage to the engine of the 99, but man, Poteet was just spinning everywhere, and I don't know how anybody didn't hit the 31 as he was spinning every which way across the front stretch. and ends up getting stopped right there past the start-finish line and then finally got back rolling again. But yeah, the 31 luckily didn't get much damage, so we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Arizona and see who is the real race leader. Well, Phil Parker ended up going a lap down, but no other cars retired out of the race. But we've got quite a confusing scoring situation. David Rivera is scored as your leader, even though the real leader should be the 51 of James McLeod. So it's only 5 cars that are close together that can battle it out. As meanwhile, those 5 are David Rivera, Jessica Sheldon, Pichu London, Dylan Young, and Austin LaPlante. Those are the 5 that are going to battle it out. So everybody else is going to have to hope for a quick caution to come out soon so they can cycle back around properly. So, yeah, we got quite a confusing situation on our hands, as McLeod is the one who should be the race leader. I don't know what NNSCRA scoring is damaged at, or if that's even a sentence, but yeah, McLeod is in 6th, and then 7th is James Qualls, 8th Zach Flickinger, 9th Jay Jefferson, 10th Dougie Shears, then Trent Dunham, Anthony McCrory, Charles Sanford, Paul Minnick, Jonathan Zorling, JT Bryant, Rafael Leduc, Andrew Rich, Matt McIntyre, Ashlyn Boyd, the top 20. And there's the 3 lapped cars, William Brock, Tim Walsh, and Phil Parker, as the green flag is back out. So yeah, these guys who are ahead of the leader are hoping for a quick caution, so that way everything can cycle around properly, and we can see something better for the end of this race. And seeing how these slower cars are blocking everyone right now, we might get that caution if they don't settle it out here, as they are really close together. And wow, how did Trent Dunham not get turned right there by the 61? That got crazy in a hurry. As we go up to where the leader, quote-unquote, is, right now that would be Pichu London, who's gone by David Rivera and Jessica Sheldon and has now put Dylan Jacobs a lap down. And also the big thing with these 5 cars being in the very back of the pack, if they get caught up in a wreck, there goes their shot of winning this race. As I saw a bit of leaning with Baskinger and Gardner up there, man, things are getting really dangerous back here in the back. Trying to keep our eyes peeled for anything that can happen, as it's now under 8 laps to go here at Arizona. This right here should be the battle for the lead, Zach Flickinger and James Qualls, but this is unfortunately a battle for just the 6th position. As meanwhile, the currently scored leader is still Pichu London, but Sheldon, Rivera, LaPlante, and Young are all right there fighting. And now here comes Sheldon with the run to the inside. Nearly got turned by David Rivera. But Sheldon manages to hang in there. And now Rafael Leduc is in danger of going a lap down. And it looks like he will go a lap down because he's now stuck on the outside line. So right now, Jessica Sheldon, who fell out of the top 30 in points, qualified in, trying to go for her first win this season and second win in the Marvel Studios Cup Series. But David Rivera, the defending series champion, trying to break that chance in hopes of getting his first win this season. Now we're 5 laps left in this race, as I'm looking around to see what all is happening in the field. Right now, Qualls the first car in line, but is in the 6th position, as Dylan Young has pretty much lost all connection to the rest of the top 4, as he must have got held up for a long time by those lapped cars. And man, what in the world happened to Emmanuel Hartnett? He was just sinking like a rock right there. Jessica Sheldon trying to go under Kyle Matthews to put him a lap down, but Kyle, for some reason, is not going to make it easy on his teammate Sheldon. And as a result, Sheldon's got Rivera back up to the back bumper again, and Rivera's trying to figure out a way around this 0-2 car in hopes of getting the lead and the win. Because now we are coming to 2 laps to go. 2 to go here at Arizona in the Desertland 400. And in the back of the field is a battle for the lead. Whoa, contact. But Sheldon hangs on to it, and that actually cost David Rivera a little bit of time as Pichu London's reeling into 6th. But the 0-2 has got lap traffic all around her. But Rivera needs to try and make a 3rd lane somehow to get on by as the white flag is out. White flag is out here at Arizona, and Pichu London going to stick his nose and trying to break up that battle. Now he's to 2nd. All Sheldon's got to do is just hold off everyone, and she is home scot-free. And it looks like it's going to be all Jessica Sheldon coming to the checkered flag. First win this season. Jessica Sheldon wins the Desertland 400 at Arizona. Despite a massive scoring error, Sheldon somehow, someway comes through with the victory. And that is huge for that team because, like I said, after last week at Canadian Tire, she fell out of the top 30 in points, had to qualify her way in. Now, she qualified in and has won the race and will most likely be back into the top 30 in the point standings. But let's look at the rest of the results. Pichu London tried to go for a big run at the end, but comes through with a great run in 2nd. David Rivera with a solid run in 3rd and a solid run in 4th for Austin LaPlante, and then a good run in 5th for Dylan Young. Then, who probably should have been the real race winner, Preston Blord comes through with a great run in 6th, solid run in 7th for Dougie Shears, great run in 8th for James Qualls, solid run in 9th for Jonathan Zorline, and then a good run in 10th for James McLeod. The rest of the top 20 was Benjamin Miles, Charles Sanford, Zach Flickinger, Mark Lane, Dorian Facepuncher, Dylan Thoreau, Trent Dunham, Matt McIntyre, Andrew Rich, and JT Bryan. The rest of the lead lap cars were Jay Jefferson, Anthony McCurry, Kyle Keith, and Joshua Sekuli. Everybody else that finished were a lap or more down, and they were Jake Baskinger, Kyle Matthews, Paul Minnick, Ashlyn Boyd, DJ Curtis, Emmanuel Hartnett, Johnny Gardner, Dylan Poteet, Charles Jackson, Dylan Jacobs, Rafael Leduc, Seth Cole, William Brock, Tim Walsh, and Phil Parker, and then only 3 cars out of the race after the first caution, and they were Chris Michaels, Chris Dollarton, and Joshua Collard. Well, that does it for our coverage here tonight at Arizona Speedway. Next time, we head to Bermuda Superspeedway for the Taco Bell 500. So, until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Bermuda. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.